Now live on World Speech Day, and I'm Simon Gibson. I'm the founder of World Speech Day. It's a day to celebrate speeches and speech making with live public events all across the world. And 2 weeks ago, we had events planned in 110 nations, which is fairly unusual, fairly extraordinary. Sadly, events have overtaken us, and we have fewer events. But we also have the joy of experimenting with new ways, and one of those is through live stream, and using live stream to explore public speaking in maybe a slightly different manner. And this session and the next session is devoted to the highly topical theme of transformation. We're going to have speakers from around the world taking very different perspectives on transformation, maybe social, maybe cultural, maybe technological, maybe climate. The first speaker this morning is Oscar di Montigny, who joins us from Italy. Oscar is an innovator and a future thinker. So I'm going to give Oscar the opportunity to give him a little bit of an introduction about himself, because he'll do it far better than me, and then to elaborate on his topic, which is the future beyond the future.
Exactly.
So great pleasure to have Oscar with us, and I'm going to hand over to Oscar right now.
Thank you, Simon, and good morning to everybody, or good evening. I don't know where you are at the moment, somewhere around the planet. So yeah, we will talk about transformation and about the future that will be beyond the future. And I don't know where you are and how you're living this amazing moment that we are not really expecting. And I want to really underline the word amazing, because I believe that this is a clear example of what I've been meaning for years, talking about future beyond. Basically, I'm in charge. I'm working for. I am going to introduce myself just to give you a small brief about me. I'm in charge of I'm the Chief Innovation, Sustainability, and Value Strategy Officer of one of the largest banks in Italy. I've been spending also a lot of time, many years, actually 15 years, traveling the world in 4 of the 5 continents, spreading the voice about new ideas about future. And this is something that I've been doing personally. I write books, I have a blog, and I write on magazines and newspapers, and I give talks around the world. And also I founded lately a startup, an innovative startup that is taking care of innovability. And I'm going to talk to you also about innovability. But at the beginning, briefly, I want to give you a provocation and I hope a suggestion about the future beyond the future. Paul Valéry used to say many, many years ago, centuries, that the future is not going to be what it used to be. And in these days, I believe that this sentence, this aphorism is really, really actual. I remember that in 2014, I had the chance to meet His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. And I had the chance to ask him if it was true a sentence that it was actually supposed to be one of these sentences. You know, most of the people that we talk about on the web, when we share sentences of famous people, they are dead. So we don't really know if Einstein really said something, Gandhi really said something. So I asked him if it was true, this sentence. They're not lucky or unlucky human beings, just human beings who know or who do not know how to read the stars. So the capability of human beings is exactly this: how to read the stars, how to connect the dots in our personal and in general sky. So by 2020, 2030, and 2045, there should be this future, this new future appearing on the scene. These dates has been used by and has been considered by the World Economic Forum and by many other researchers as times where new scenarios would have appeared. So the time came, and to give you a brief perspective, I'd like to share with you which would be the 4 main drivers who are going to reshape the entire planet. It was really weird talking about this stuff last year, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, and to see how everything is really happening fastly right now. So basically, the first driver is going to be demography. The planet is going to be reshaped totally, 100% by new movements of people on the planet. It's really hard to get the right importance of this new change. We are the last generation of humanity went colonizing the planet from the center of the world that was considered Europe, uh, up west in the North America, southwest in South America, Far East. Now everything is going to change. There will be 1 billion of people moving from the southern part of the world up to the north. And you should go and look at the numbers of the main cities that will be on the planet in the future. By 2050, 2075, the source is World Economic Forum, we may have the 10 biggest cities on the planet, all based in Africa. We are talking about 100 millions of people living in Dar es Salaam or Kinshasa or some other places. So first, demography is going to reshape everything. And demography is not just population, it's also an economic approach to the new shape of the world. Second, there will be the technology, the environment. Environment, okay, it might sound already boring talking about environment today, but we have to be very much concerned. The human footprint on the planet was really, really hard in the last years, and we destroyed, these are not fake numbers, these are true, 10% of the wilderness on the planet just in the last 25 years. So being responsible for the planet is something that belongs totally 100% to this generation, to this period of the story of humanity. So this condition is asking us a totally 100% new approach to life, to environment, to the planet. Third, technology. Technology is not just a matter of tools uh, or devices. Technology has to be considered a new neurological approach to life. And talking about virtual reality, augmented reality, IoT, IoE, big data, all the sentiment analysis on the web uh, is going to reshape our neurological processes. Talking with the neuroscientists could be very clear to all of you how our brain is going to change. We were not used to wear glasses when we were kids, and like our kids are doing, playing with the Nintendo or the PlayStation or whatever else. But those tools are reshaping most of their neurological processes. Their minds are going to work in a totally different way from ours. So there will be a world where we'll be living in 100% different from the world that we've been used to. So the way we'll take decision, we will feel responsibility, we will vote every 5 years in Italy, for example, is going to be totally reshaped by the use of technology and by the impact that technology will have on our brains. And then the fourth driver will be the most important one. After demography, after technology, after environment, there will be finally, thanks God, ethics, values, and new behaviors. We must. I used to say we have to, but now we must. And these days is very clear the idea of transformation. um, we must rethink what we mean by ethics, values, and behaviors, because this is the time, this is the most amazing time to be human beings. Never before, like in this moment, we had the chance in our hands and the possibility to reshape the entire thing. Now is this is the time for responsible human beings. Because talking about demography, for example, there will be different population meeting together. So the impact will be really strong. Now is the responsibility of human beings to give an orientation to this touch. I had the chance to meet the niece of the Mahatma Gandhi, Tara Gandhi. She's the daughter of the fourth son of the Mahatma Gandhi. She's 97, I believe. And Tara used to tell me, you know, Oscar, my grandfather, the Mahatma Gandhi, used to tell me, Tara, the speed doesn't make the difference if you go in the wrong direction. Now it's time. The time came to give the right direction. I'm so happy and grateful to be alive in a moment for humanity where I was given the capability and the possibility to give my own direction to the world. So the time came for a new approach to innovation and a new approach to sustainability. We must understand that being innovative means the capability to reshape everything totally. We need a consciousness disruptive innovation, not just a technological one. And then sustainability. Quantum physics just discovered that we all are interconnected in a magnetic field. So if we are all interconnected, great. The time came to be responsible for every single thoughts, emotion, action of our life, because these thoughts, these actions, these emotions are going to contribute to the reshaping of the entire planet. So this is time for responsibility, the capability, the ability to give a response. It's time for a revolution of consciousness, not a revolution in the streets, revolution of consciousness. This is the best time for human beings to be alive. Simon, I can hear you. Sorry.
I've turned my mic on back on, so that's fine. That's great. Thank you. That's a wonderful review, Oscar. So many things to kind of pick up on, but maybe one of the things that just has occurred to me because of the times that we've been going through recently is if we're having if as part of your address you're saying that we share so much, that we have a common humanity, and that we are all kind of in this together. It's occurred to me that we're also going to need new social structures.
Absolutely.
And by that I mean, are we going to need some kind of global response to things? It's occurred to me in the last 2 or 3 days that country after country after country has behaved just as a nation.
Yeah.
And not, they've closed their borders, they've done their own things. There's been no global response.
I mean, borders don't exist. It's just an intellectual construction for our brain to shape the planet. It has been for centuries like this. Fine, we have cultural borders, but on the planet there are no borders at all. So the time came finally to start a revolution of legacies. We have to rethink what a legacy is. Then will be time to rethink the organizational assets of the private sector, the public sector, of the entire planet. And then, third step, we have to redesign the project master plan, the project of my life, of my company, of my country, of the planet, because I am an active part of the planet. Fourth step, budget, how to allocate money, where to put money, where it is important to put money today. Fifth, time, we have to reallocate our times. And in these days, it's so clear the importance of time. Sixth, culture. We have to rethink entirely the idea of culture. What do we mean by culture? Do we need an Italian culture, a German culture, a UK, US, French culture, or a planet culture? And then, seventh step, people. People, people. The human beings are the most evolved species on the planet. Actually, we didn't behave like that lately, but we still are. So, back to basics, back to the essence. We have to be our own essence.
Yes, and something you said earlier about ethical struck me as something that we could also all get behind, that notion of an ethical revolution, as it were. And it's ethics is the one thing that joins us. It's the one thing that could drive progress forward if that became the centerpiece.
Absolutely.
We could ignore nationhood, but be driven by ethics.
You know, ethics and values, but we have to consider ethics and values on a universal scale,
Yes.
because we have been able to kill in the name of God. I don't know if God really exists or not. Actually, I do believe, at least I believe in something higher and more inclusive. And let's call it God for example, and simplicity. And fine, we can't kill in the name of something that is bigger, higher, more inclusive than us. So values has to be, we can consider a value really a value only if it is universal. Otherwise it's not a value, it's something belonging to my culture. But again, back to the history of humanity, we have been killed in the name of whatever. So wow, let's catch this moment to, not to survive, to live, not to survive, to live intensely, deeply, because because the time really came, and I am so happy of it. The
Yes, and in
time
a
of
strange
values.
way, this current threat and disaster that we're facing, because it affects all mankind, may be a remarkable catalyst for the things that you're talking about, for a reshaping of the way that we go about and approach our lives. It's not just
Yeah,
medical, but it is a sort of fundamental spiritual reshaping.
absolutely. You know what, Simon? We fell asleep for a very long time, centuries. So now we must consider ourselves lucky to be part of that story where, you know, the hero came out. It's time to face the enemy. It's time to battle our war, and okay, let's do it, and let's do it in a peaceful way. Let's do it inside ourselves, staying with us, with our, and wondering what do we really want from our lives. We've been taught to be, that was important to be famous, rich, having many followers on Instagram, depending on the age, you know, and the culture. I'm not saying that were bullshits, but I'm just saying that okay, there is something else, and we came on the planet to live this something else. And as an entrepreneur, as a writer, as a speaker, whatever. But what is the essence of life? So I think this is the question that we have to stay with for a long while in these months. And I'm sure that in a few months, we'll go out and we will find an unexpected world waiting for us. And there will be a new story to tell.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think? I mean, just on a sort of simple level for people, what do you think we can do individually that will kind of take us forward? What are the sort of
Wow.
steps that you think people can take? I mean, I find that kind of thing really difficult to kind of bring into my own life.
I'll be very provocative, but I think that the first step will be, is going to be hard. It's not going to be part of our culture, at least not of mine, but we should be grateful. We should be grateful for anything we were given. Even this moment is a gift. So let's stay with ourselves. Let's keep doing what we are doing. I'm sure that most of us, at least here in Italy, we are all interconnected,
Yeah.
just to work and to stay in touch with our relatives, our families. So back to the essence, back to the main questions, back to the main meanings, and being grateful. Then re let's keep doing what we are doing, but from a new perspective, you know, looking at something that we are not looking at, that was already there. There is nothing new out there.
Yeah.
It's still the same, just the eyes they changed. So again, being grateful, gratitude is going to be one of the main values of the future. This is my very personal belief, but being grateful, feeling gratitude is going to be a very good beginning to restart, not in the next months when everything will be over, but today, here, now. This moment is the only gift that we are given at the moment.
Well, thank you, Oscar. That's been a wonderful review. We'll have many, many more chances to discuss these things in much more depth. But it's been so kind of you to come and kind of introduce these new ideas and to give us a kind of a platform this morning to take our discussions about transformation on. And so